Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. So in the space of 2 days, I watched Unbreakable, Split and Glass, all connected, one trilogy, 19 years in the making. So let's talk about it, no spoilers.
And we'll fly, we'll fly away.
Alright, so a few years ago, Split came out, and friends of mine were talking about it, other people were talking about it, about the ending of it as well, especially people just talking about this movie. And I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it because I just didn't watch it. Either I didn't watch it because I was doing YouTube, or I was gaming. I gamed a lot, especially in the past, or I was watching something else, or I was just busy and just didn't have time. So because of that, I made a list, two of them actually, one for movies, one for TV shows, of things that I haven't watched. So I list things that are either recommended to me or things that I just hear people talking about, and I thought this sounds interesting, I'm gonna put it on a list. And eventually I get to them. Eventually. I didn't get to Split until now. The reason I watched Unbreakable and Split now was because Glass is coming out, and that's connected to these two as well. It connects the two movies together. So that's when I thought, okay, I gotta see these two movies, then watch the other one, which is in cinemas. So yeah, that's what happened, because I heard people talking about Split and I just never got around to watching it. Like, for example, Game of Thrones. I didn't watch that until before season 7. So season 7 was coming out, and I didn't watch it yet. And people were just raving about it, and I thought, I need to see what this is about. So I watched all 6 seasons, then watched the 7th one when it was on. Same with like Walking Dead. Like when Walking Dead season 7 episode 1 happened, the whole Negan thing, I heard about it, there was so much hype about it, people were going crazy, going nuts, and I thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to watch this. I watched all 6 seasons, then watched the 7th as it was going. So yeah, basically, I hear people talking about stuff, and I just want to watch it for myself. I want to see, like, what's all this hype about? Well, what is all this hype? I want to see what's going on. It's the same thing with Split. It wasn't like a huge hype behind this. There wasn't a huge hype around Glass, but there was hype around it, people talking about it because of Split and Unbreakable. So yeah, I watched the first one first, obviously, Unbreakable. This was, by the way, Unbreakable and Split, they're separate, they're not connected, but the ending of Split connects that movie to Unbreakable. So that's the interesting thing, because I'm pretty sure people didn't know about that. They never knew about this crossover thing. And then they saw the scene at the end, they were like, oh my god, it links to this movie. But to be fair, that depended on whether people saw the first one anyway. So some people wouldn't have gotten it, but the people that saw both, they would have understood. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. That I like how they connected it together. But anyway, Unbreakable, I'm not going to say spoilers, but I'm going to say who the characters are, pretty much. The main characters in Unbreakable, the first guy is a guy who breaks easily. He breaks easily. His arms and legs, little impact, and they just break. His bones are so weak. Forgot to charge my battery. Sorry, the camera just ran out of battery. Anyway, as I was saying, Sam L. Jackson's character, who I was talking about, is a character who breaks easily. And this other guy, who's played by Bruce Willis, David Dunn, he is unbreakable. He doesn't break. He doesn't get injured. Doesn't get sick. So this movie's about these two characters, pretty much. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, I guess. Like, this movie I don't think was great. And never at any point did I think, oh, this is great, or this is really good. I just looked at it and thought, it's interesting. These characters that they're portraying here, it's interesting enough for me to keep watching. Both Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis, both of their characters were very interesting. Also other characters as well. There's other characters in there which are quite interesting too. But it's mainly those two. And Samuel Jackson's character is obsessed with comic books. He's obsessed with superheroes and villains, and he has the idea that they can be real in a way. Like, I can't explain it further because it'll be a spoiler, but he believes certain things about heroes. And Bruce Willis's character is a guy who technically has powers because he can't get injured or get sick. So that's pretty interesting, like how that all works. So eventually they meet as well, and Samuel Jackson's kind of obsessed with Bruce Willis's character. I keep saying the actor's name instead of the character's names. Elijah is Samuel Jackson's character. Elijah and David Dunn, right? Elijah's kind of obsessed with David Dunn in a way, kind of obsessed with his powers and stuff, because basically something happens in the movie which David Dunn survives unscathed, and Elijah's just obsessed with him, like, because there's something interesting about him, and it just goes off that for a lot of the movie. The first half an hour or so, I was like, where's this going? I just wasn't too sure, but then it got a bit more interesting, got more intriguing. I wanted to see, like, where were they taking this movie? Where were they taking it? What were they doing in this movie? I wanted to know, because I knew it was connected to Split. Like, I knew this a couple years ago, because I heard about it, I read about it. This is connected to Split. So I was wondering, like, how does this all play out then? How do we get to Glass? So it was pretty interesting, like, what was going on. Like, I was trying to figure out, like, where were they taking Unbreakable? Where were they taking this movie? And the ending was the best part of the movie, actually. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I mean, like, the very last scene, you get a reveal about something that Elijah did. And when I saw that reveal, I did not see it coming. I did not see that coming. I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting. That's an interesting twist, because before that scene I thought, I think this about this character. I think this character is this way. And then you see this review and you're like, my whole life is a lie. That's a joke, obviously. But still, like, just that review at the end was crazy. But yeah, this movie was rather strange. Was very strange. It was interesting though. The characters, they kept me interested, but it wasn't a great movie to me. It really wasn't a great movie. Like, if I was to like rate it, probably I'd give it a 7, just because I like the characters, pretty much. I'd give it a 7. 7 for me is just like, it's passable. It's pretty good, but not that good. 7's a pretty high number for that, to be fair, but still I feel like 6 is a bit harsh. But I don't know, it was just really weird at times. But as I said, even though the movie wasn't that great, the two characters and the twist at the end was what got me into it. I was like, I like what you did here. I really like what you did here. And then I was like, how is this going to connect to Split? So I watched Split after this, and Split is standalone. It's unconnected to Unbreakable until the end of the movie. So this whole movie is about a guy who's played by James McAvoy with 23 different personalities. So different names, there's males, there's females. So it's pretty crazy. Like, I really like James McAvoy, because he really plays his character really well. Like, or characters, shall I say, because he plays 23 different personalities all in one. That takes talent. So I appreciate the actor's work on that. I really do. And there's a 24th personality that's called the Beast. All right, that's not a major spoiler, by the way. This is revealed pretty early. But there's a 24th character who is the most aggressive one, and that's what I'm gonna say, because otherwise it's a spoiler. But pretty much, this character, he kidnaps girls, and the stuff he does to those girls are really, really disgusting, to be honest. At times I was like really uncomfortable with watching some of the things, because I was like, oh dear, like what is this? Like, seriously. This movie I don't think was as good as Unbreakable. In fact, I think it was the weakest one. It's the one I enjoyed the least. The other two I felt had a better storyline wise. Split was essentially a horror movie that really wasn't that scary, actually. It was more disgusting than scary. It was still horror, but it was more disgusting than scary. It didn't really have any jump scares or anything, but it was pretty scary. Basically, he kidnaps a few girls, which is what he does. He kidnaps girls, and near the end, they try to escape, and certain things happen, pretty much. I can't say anything further because it's a spoiler, but it's pretty crazy, like, what this character does, and all these different personalities. It's mad. Imagine that in real life. Like, if you saw that sort of person, that would be ridiculous. But yeah, and I was like, how are they gonna connect this to Unbreakable? Like, what's going on here? What are they getting into? So yeah, that's what I got to say about this movie. Really, it's about a guy who kidnaps females and does certain things. Okay, that's all I can say, but without spoiling it. So yeah, he's a crazy guy. The actor does a great job. Once again, like Unbreakable, the characters carry the movie. I feel the characters carry them, which they should, to be fair. I don't know why I'm saying the characters. Anyway, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. There are movies where the movie's not really that good, but there's always a character in there that you really like. I've seen a lot of movies and TV shows like that. There's always like something. There's always something good to find in things that you don't particularly like. And I didn't like Split. I didn't like Split. I don't know. I mean, it was messed up, and James McAvoy did a great job, and also did the actresses as well in the movie. They did a great job too. But I did not enjoy this movie. It was not an enjoyable experience, especially at like 1 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, that's all I got to say on that. But then the final scene is where they connected Unbreakable to Split, and I was like, once again, just like Unbreakable, my favorite scene in the movie is the last scene. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but the last scene of both of those movies were my favorite parts. It wasn't the same for Glass. We'll get to Glass in a second. But if I was to rate Split, I'd say like 6 out of 10. Like honestly, I did not enjoy it. Just the main thing that I appreciated were the performances from James McAvoy especially, and from other actresses. So yeah, that's all I got to say on that. But yeah, the last scene is where they connected it, and I got chills. I actually got chills. Even though I didn't like Split, I got chills that they connected this to Unbreakable. You see, I love the idea of crossovers. Like, crossovers excite me. For some reason, I always wanted to see crossovers as a kid. I don't know why. I just wanted to see different franchises just crossover. And this isn't like different franchises, but still, it's different movies standalone that connect to each other, and I like that. Like, for example, I love cinematic universes. I love the MCU, the DCEU, the DC animated universe, the DC Arrowverse, the Marvel Netflix universe. I like universes, and it's not just Marvel and DC I want to see crossovers for. I like crossovers in other movies as well, and I don't mean sequels. I mean like crossovers, like Split connecting to Unbreakable. I like the idea of movies connecting to other movies. I just like the idea. I'm like, wow, this is in the same universe as that. I just think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool concept, and I hope we get to see more and more of this in different franchises as well, because I just think it's a really cool thing to do. Another thing I guess is Alien Predator as well, which I haven't seen, but that's another crossover thing in a way. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But let's move on to Glass. So I watched Glass, and it was better than Split, I'll say that much. And well, there was a review as well at the end, which was pretty crazy. But basically, the three characters, the unbreakable guy, the very much breakable guy, and the guy with like 23 personalities, they meet. They all meet. It starts off with David Dunn, the unbreakable guy, going after the kidnapper, who also kidnapped more people in this movie as well. And it starts off there, and it escalates. Eventually Elijah arrives at the scene. I guess that's not the right way of putting it, but they eventually all meet each other, all three of them, in the same room. It's in the trailer as well, partly. So it's pretty interesting, like, what happens. And there's a woman in this movie. Actually, no, I think I said a spoiler there. I'm gonna like cut out the last bit. I said I was talking for like 2 minutes. I'll cut it out because there's spoilers. But there's a woman in this who's like a psychiatric person who deals with these three people, all three of them. And she has her own motives about things, and I can't say anything beyond that because that would be a spoiler. But you eventually get to this climax, right? And one of the characters from Unbreakable, one of the characters from Split is in Glass. One of the I can't say who it is, but one of the people from Split is also in Glass, and I was like, wow, so this person is in this as well. That's pretty cool. And also, David Dunn's son from Unbreakable is I'm pretty sure it's the same actor as the one from Glass as well. I haven't checked that, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. So that's pretty cool how he played a kid in 2000, and 19 years later is playing his son again as an adult. I just think that's a pretty cool thing. But yeah, this character I was mentioning from Split, this person plays quite an important role with the serial kidnapper. She plays quite an important role. So I thought that was pretty interesting, the dynamic between that, to see those characters meet again. I don't know why she would want to meet him again anyway, but it was pretty interesting to see them have a conversation after Split. So that was a pretty some interesting scenes there. But eventually get to climax. There's a climax like sort of battle, and it's pretty interesting. They kind of like teased a bigger battle, which I kind of wanted to see in a way, to be fair. But I don't know, the ending was a little bit underwhelming. I just wanted more out of what I saw. This movie was interesting enough because I was invested in the characters, in the three main characters, but still the way it ended, I wanted more out of it. Having said that, there were some reveals, and one of those reveals connects this character, because you're thinking like they connected these two movies, but this what's his name? Well, there's 23 personalities, but this multiple personality guy, how does he connect to these other two characters? And he does. They reveal something in a flashback scene that directly connects this multiple personality character to these other two characters, and I was just like, wow. I was shocked. I was shocked by this reveal. I was like, really? They've just done that to us? They've just really just... This is my reaction. I was like, what? I was baffled in a good way. That was a cool reveal. It was better than the reveal at the end of Unbreakable, actually. This reveal was a flashback scene that happened. I can't really say because it's a spoiler. I need to try and... I should have done a spoiler video, to be honest, but I'll stick with this. I'll stick with no spoilers. But there's a flashback scene that directly connects this multiple personality. It connects James McAvoy's character to the other two in a way, and it's just an amazing reveal. Like, I really like that reveal. That, like, it kind of saved the movie in a way, because the movie wasn't great. None of these were great. I still think it was worth watching all three of them. I think it was worth watching at least, but I don't think any of them were great. I thought Unbreakable was fine. It was interesting. That's what kept me going. Split wasn't that good to me. Glass was better than Split. I'd say the strongest one was Unbreakable, to be honest. I'd say Unbreakable was the best one for me anyway. I saw the reviews for this movie, and they're very mixed. A lot of people hated them, some people loved them, some people liked. There's not really in between, really. It's either like hate or love. And I guess I can see why. I feel like people who watched the previous two movies first will like this more than people who didn't watch the first two. That's my feeling on it, because I feel like there's quite a lot of people who didn't watch Unbreakable, and some people only watched Split, and I feel like it takes away a little bit from the reveals and stuff. Because I just think when you watch both of those movies first, the third one pays off more, especially the ending of the third one. So yeah, I thought everything was pretty interesting, like what they did. And there was another reveal as well. It wasn't as big a reveal, but it was a pretty big deal at the end. And yeah, that's all I got to say on these movies, really. First one was interesting, second one not so good, but I liked the ending. And the third one was better than the second one, but the ending the reveal was really good. So yeah, these were worth checking out for sure. If I was to rate Glass, I'd say, I guess, a 7. I guess 7. I think is a bit too nice, to be honest. But you know what? I'm not hating. I felt they were worth checking out, and they were interesting. Like, these characters were cool, and we kind of got closure, I guess, with all three characters in a way, and also the other characters as well. Like Elijah, his mom plays an important role in Unbreakable and Glass. With the multiple personality guy, it's one of the people from the Split. It's the character from the Split movie that arrived in this movie that was important to him, and also David Dunn's son as well. And those three characters kind of like come together in a way. on a united front to do something, which I'm not going to say what it is, but that's also a reveal and stuff. So yeah, I kind of want to, I kind of like them, and I kind of don't. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't really think any were that great, but I also think they were all worth checking out, and I like the idea that they all crossed over. I like that idea, and I think it's possible, but nothing great to me, nothing that special, but it was worth checking out. So yeah, there we go. I keep repeating myself quite a lot in these reviews, to be honest, that I do, but I just thought I'd talk about these movies, and I just thought I'd give my thoughts on these, because people were talking about them, and I thought, let's just get on the conversation. Like, I like talking about things in movies and TV shows that other people talk about. I just like it. I just enjoy it. Anyway, yeah, I've got a very long list of movies that I should watch, and a list of TV shows as well. Good luck to me. I'll probably get to them in like 2 years time. Like, seriously, like, I spend so much time making YouTube videos, and I already watched like 13 shows that are currently going as well, and that's not including Game of Thrones. So I'm in a bit of trouble, but hopefully eventually I get round to watching everything that's on my list. That'd be great. Then I don't need to get behind on everything. But I think I watched these three like at the perfect time, because the third one was in cinemas, so it was a nice thing to watch the first two, then watch that one. So yeah, this was your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see ya.